Fred and Mary got married but couldn't afford a honeymoon, so they went back to Fred's parents' home for their first night together. In the morning, Johnny, Fred's little brother, gets up and has his breakfast. As he is going out the door to go to school, he asks his mom if Fred and Mary are up yet. She replies, "No." Johnny asks, "Do you know what I think?" His mom replies, "I don't want to hear what you think. Just go to school." Johnny comes home for lunch and asks his mom, "Are Fred and Mary up yet?" She replies, "No." Johnny says, "Do you know what I think?" His mom replies, "Never mind what you think. Eat your lunch and go back to school." After school, Johnny comes home and asks again, "Are Fred and Mary up yet?" His mom says, "No." He asks, "Do you know what I think?" His mom replies, "Okay, tell me, what do you think?" Little Johnny says, "Last night Fred came to my room for the Vaseline, and I think I gave him my airplane glue." A teacher was explaining biology to her 4th grade students. She says, "Human beings are the only animals that stutter." Little Sally raises her hand and says, "I had a kitty cat who stuttered." The teacher, knowing how precious some of these stories could become, asked the girl to describe the incident. "Well," she began, "I was in the backyard with my kitty, and the Rottweiler that lives next door got a running start, and before we knew it, he jumped into our yard." "That must have been scary," said the teacher. "It sure was," said Sally. "My kitty raised his back, went foof, 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 and before he could say fuck, the Rottweiler ate him." 6th grade science teacher Mrs. Sampson asks her class, "Who can tell me which organ of the human body expands to 10 times its usual size when stimulated?" Nobody raises a hand, so she calls on the first student to look her way. "Mary, can you tell me which organ of the human body expands to 10 times its usual size when stimulated?" Mary stands up, blushing furiously. "How dare you ask such a question?" she asks. "I'm going to complain to my parents, who will complain to the principal and have you fired." Mrs. Sampson is shocked by Mary's reaction, but undaunted. She asks the class the question again, and this time Sam raises his hand. "Yes, Sam?" says Mrs. Sampson. "Ma'am, the correct answer is the iris of the human eye." "Very good, Sam. Thank you." Mrs. Sampson then turns to Mary and says, "Mary, I have 3 things to tell you. First, it's clear that you have not done your homework. Second, you have a dirty mind. And third, I fear one day you are going to be sadly disappointed." A former Marine Corps sergeant took a job as a high school teacher. Right before the school year started, he injured his back and had to wear a plaster cast under his shirt. The students didn't know. On the first day, he walked into the noisiest, rowdiest class in the school, the kind that eats new teachers alive. The kids, knowing he was a former Marine, were already planning to test him. The sergeant calmly opened the window, sat at his desk, and when a breeze blew his tie around, he casually picked up a stapler and stapled the tie to his chest. The room went dead silent. The rest of the year, let's just say discipline was never an issue again. Skinny little man goes into an elevator, looks up, and sees this huge guy standing next to him. The big guy sees the little Irishman staring at him. He looks down and says, 7 feet tall, 350 pounds, 20-inch penis, 3 pounds of testicles, Turner Brown. The little Irishman faints and falls to the floor. The big guy kneels and brings him to, shaking him. In a weak voice, the little guy asks, "What exactly did you say to me?" The big guy says, "I saw your curious look and figured I'd just give you the answers to the questions everyone always asks me. I'm 7 feet tall. I weigh 350 pounds. I have a 20-inch penis. My testicles weigh 3 pounds. And my name is Turner Brown." The little Irishman says, "Turner Brown? Sweet Jesus, I thought you said turn around." At school, little Johnny's classmate tells him that most adults are hiding at least one dark secret, so it's very easy to blackmail them by saying, "I know the whole truth." Little Johnny decides to go home and try it out. Johnny's mother greets him at home, and he tells her, "I know the whole truth." His mother quickly hands him $20 and says, "Just don't tell your father." Quite pleased, the boy waits for his father to get home from work and greets him with, "I know the whole truth." The father promptly hands him $40 and says, "Please don't say a word to your mother." Very pleased, the boy is on his way to school the next day when he sees the mailman at his front door. The boy greets him by saying, "I know the whole truth." The mailman immediately drops the mail, opens his arms and says, "Then come give your daddy a great big hug." Two rich businessmen are walking as friends in a park. The first businessman, whose name was Joe, discovered a pile of dog poop on the sidewalk. He then told the other businessman, Jack, that if Jack ate the pile of poop, he would give him $1 million. Jack agreed, so he ate the pile of poop and gained $1 million. Later, Jack saw another pile of poop on the grass. He told Joe that if he ate it, he would give back the $1 million. Joe agreed because he didn't want to lose the money, and he did. Much later, the two men were all crying their eyes out because they both ate a pile of poop and didn't gain a cent. A man buys a lie-detecting robot that slaps people when they lie, so he decides to try it out at dinner. He asks his son, "Did you go to school today?" The son replies, "Yes," and the robot slaps him. The son says, "All right, I went to the movies." The father asks, "What did you see?" And the son replies, "Toy Story 4." The robot slaps him again, and the son says, Okay, it was an adult film." His father snorts and says, "When I was your age, we didn't even know what pornography was." This time, the robot slaps the father. The mother sips her coffee and says, "Ha! He's your son, after all." The robot slaps her. An Irishman and an Englishman walk into a bakery. The Englishman steals 3 buns and puts them into his pockets and leaves. He says to the Irishman, "That took great skill and guile to steal those buns. The owner didn't even see me." The Irishman replied, "That's just simple thievery. I'll show you how to do it the honest way and get the same results." The Irishman then proceeded to call out the owner of the bakery and said, "Sir, I want to show you a magic trick." The owner was intrigued, so he came over to see the magic trick. The Irishman asked him for a bun, and then he proceeded to eat it. He asked 2 more times, and after eating them again, the owner asked, "Okay, my friend, where's the magic trick?" The Irishman then said, "Look in the Englishman's pockets." This little guy is sitting inside a bar, just looking at his drink. He stays like that for half an hour. Then, this big, troublemaking truck driver steps next to him, takes the drink from the guy, and just drinks it all down. The poor man starts crying. The truck driver says, "Come on, man, I was just joking. Here, I'll buy you another drink. I just can't see a man crying." The little guy says, "No, it's not that. Today's been the worst of my life. First, I overslept, was late to an important meeting. My boss, outraged, just fired me. When I left the building for my car, I found out it had been stolen. The police said they could do nothing. I got a cab to return home, and after I paid the cab driver and the cab had gone, I found that I had left my wallet in the cab. I got home only to find my wife was in bed with the gardener. I left home and came to this bar. And when I was thinking about putting an end to my life, you show up and drink my poison.